Hello, carnivores. I'm taking some inspiration from Dante Ferrigno, and I'm going to come out here and try some sprinting. Ducks are talking. Yeah, I got two ducks. Named Sonic and Knuckles. So it's raining right now, and they enjoy it. But it doesn't help for me filming outside. So I got my camera out here under the, well, my phone really, under the barn. And today is not technically my first day sprinting. That would be yesterday. But I just came out and I found a spot that I could sprint for about roughly 10 seconds at a time. And turns out I run diagonally across my, my back lot here. It's just about 10 seconds. And I'm going to hopefully outgrow this pretty quickly, but for now I think it's good enough. There was a spot I was doing over here, but there's a nice dip right there in the dirt, and about ate it. I mean, I came real close to falling on my face yesterday. So that was the purpose of, going out and doing some, like 2 or 3 test sprints. And so it turns out this spot over here is, pretty flat. It's dirt, even though right now it's kind of almost a mud, which isn't probably the safest, but I'm going to do it anyways. If I end up in the hospital, then, yeah, I guess you'll see that too. So I'll keep the camera rolling. I'll do 10 sprints. I'm going to sprint one way and walk the other way. And as soon as I get back, I'm going to sprint again. So instead of doing like a timed rest, I'm just going to, my rest period is going to be as long as it takes for me to walk back to the start. And then I'm going to sprint back. And we'll just see how that goes. I don't really know. Maybe good, maybe bad. Not really sure yet. So wish me luck. Well, I think that was 10. Hope so. I'll look in a minute, and if it's not, I'll do another. So the run is actually not so muddy here. It's at the end that it gets muddy. So I'm trying to slow down, get this nice mud. So that was always good. A little cool down, walk around a little bit. While I'm walking, I'm going to check real quick on the video. I'll be right back. Okay. So that was 10 laps. My son came out. So he's wanting me to get him some dinner going, so I'm going to do that. But got my sprints in, and we'll continue the video momentarily. Hello everybody, welcome back. Sorry that my head's kind of cut off. I just got tired of trying to fix the camera. Couldn't really figure a good spot. This place I'm in is kind of tiny. This is where I am when I'm working away from home. Just a small place, so I don't have a very large kitchen to cook in. But today, well, later, I'm going to be talking about the sprinting I did. I tried that out thanks to Dante Ferrigno. I watched his videos and I decided to give it a try. I got a little bit of that coming up. But before we get to that, I've got a little bit of cooking I'm going to do today. I bought me one of these Lodge cast iron skillets. I'm going to try to start using these things. I've got two more of them back at home. One's about the same size, one's bigger. But they were hand-me-downs. My wife's father passed them down to her. So I don't really want to use those when I'm learning on cast iron and mess them up. So I figured I'd go get this $20 one. I'm going to strip the seasoning off because they use vegetable oil. Well, some sort of vegetable oil. I don't remember exactly which one, but I don't want it on my pan. So I did a lot of looking on the internet for ways to strip the seasoning. And of course, there's, knowing the internet, there's 1,000 different ways to do it, but the one that seemed to come up the most was to use a self-cleaning oven. So that's what I'm going to do today. Hopefully it works out and doesn't catch on fire. I did read that in some of the comments people did have theirs catch on fire in the oven, and so some people said don't try it, and then some people said they did a bunch of them and it was great. And some people said they did it and they basically it worked, but then their pan cracked or warped or something. So I figure, for 20 bucks, I don't like throwing away 20 bucks, but if I'm going to try a method like this, it could be a lot worse. I don't want to try a method like this on, a hand-me-down heirloom from my wife's father. I'd rather do it on a brand new $20 one that I got from the store just now. So basically the way this goes, before that, the reason I'm doing that is because I don't want to use Teflon coated pans anymore. I actually don't know what this one's coated with, but you can see there's starting to be scratches in it, which means that's getting in my food. I don't like that. I don't want that in my food. So I'm going to start trying to switch to this, and I'm going to strip it, and then I'm going to re-season it with bacon grease. There's a lot of different things you can use. I'm going to use bacon grease because I found some bacon that seems to be pretty clean. I know you can use beef fat, but it seems a lot easier to me to get bacon grease. My family goes through a lot of bacon. I have a lot of bacon. When I'm cooking beef, a lot of times there ends up being, I know they say it's not blood, it's like globulin or something, but it's, red in my fat, and I don't want to deal with trying to separate the fat from whatever else is in there. Whereas with bacon grease, it's a lot easier. You just got to remove the solids. And you can get one of those strainer cups that when you dump the grease in, it keeps all the bits on top. For today, I'm just going to use a paper towel to strain my bacon grease out. I am going to be cooking my bacon on here. And also, while this is, actually, let me throw this in first. So I'm kind of scatterbrained. I just got home from work and I figured I would do this real quick before it got too late. So let's toss this thing in the oven. I say to put it upside down and put something underneath to catch all the stuff that drops off, which I have. I have some aluminum foil in a pan down there. And I'm going to put it on self-clean. 4 hours. It'll be 10:30 at night when it's done, but that's okay. Start. And I'm going to lock it. Then away she goes. We'll see what that does. See if I just destroyed it or if it'll work. All right there, carnivores. Just a little update. It's been just under 2 hours since I started doing the self-cleaning oven method of taking the old seasoning off the cast iron skillet. And it's getting late. Well, late for me. Woke up at 3 o'clock this morning to drive to work, but it's 8:20 and I'm gonna go to sleep for a little bit. And this thing is still going. It does not look any different than when I put it in, at least through there. So we'll see what another couple hours does, but it looks absolutely the same. And aside from some smoke that came out, which is probably just from some food from, previous things I baked in there. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if my self-cleaning gets hot enough for it or if I haven't given it enough time or what the deal is, but a lot of the things I read said 3 to 5 hours, and so I picked 4 hours, thinking, right in the middle would be good, but we'll see. And I've got the crock pot still going. That'll finish at about 3:30 in the morning. I'll wake up then and check on that also. So yeah, got a few alarms set, one for 3:30, one for 2 hours from now, so I can check on the cast iron. And the problem with cast iron is since I started it, I kind of have to at least get one seasoning coat on it tonight so that it doesn't start rusting. That's kind of a problem. So great. So anyways, I'm gonna get some shut-eye for a little bit, and I'll get back with you in a couple hours. It's been sitting for a while. Honestly, it looks pretty much the same as it did when I put it in. It looks maybe a little more gray, not quite as dark. I guess I'm not really sure what it's supposed to look like. I saw some pictures and everyone else's had like some flaky and maybe some ash coming off of it, and mine just kind of looks a little slightly discolored. So I'm not too sure. It definitely, maybe it feels a little different too, but anyhow, I'm going to season this tomorrow and start using it for all my cooking at work. Anyhow, going back to sleep. I gotta get up in about an hour and a half to go to work, so I will get back to you later. Alright, so it's the next day, home from work, and I get to look at this pan a little closer. Actually, I think that looks pretty good compared to what it looked like before. Let's get the light here. It's nice and gray instead of black. I think it actually did a pretty good job. So the next step, according to the guide I'm looking at, is to actually wash it, which I normally, you wouldn't want to wash with soap and water normally, but because it's about to get re-seasoned, I'm going to do that. You get this reset up pointed at the sink here. All right. So I bought this brush. It's a Lodge brush, soft bristle brush, and it supposedly is made for cleaning out this pan. And I'm going to actually use soap and water today to get all the residue out that's left over from cleaning out the old seasoning. And then I'm going to put it in the oven to dry it off a little bit, and then I'm going to start seasoning it with bacon grease. So let's get this thing cleaned up. All right, there it is. I'm gonna pop this in the oven for a few minutes and get it drying, and while I'm doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and start some bacon. This is the bacon I'm going to be using. Get it from Costco. It says low sodium, but I don't care about that. I put salt on everything. Sugar-free is the reason I get it. And it's not, you know, there's no bacon I've found that's perfectly clean that I can, in my area. It's got water, salt, sodium phosphate, sodium erythorbate, and sodium nitrate. None of those are sugar. Looks like it's basically preservatives and water and salt. And I don't know if you would consider preservatives necessarily better than sugar, but it's what we got. It's what I'm using. I'm going to cook up a bunch of this to get a bunch of bacon fat ready, and then we're going to go ahead and season this pan up. And I'll tell you, last night after I started the pan seasoning in the oven, I didn't realize how much smoke it would make. I mean, I figured it would make some, but I ended up having to open a door and turn a fan on and all sorts of stuff because the vent on this doesn't actually vent to the outside. It just vents right out the top of the microwave, so didn't really do me any good turning on the microwave vent above the stove. So that was fun. So for 4 hours I had a fan blowing all the smoke out the door. Get a knife. All right. Really messed. There we go. Really messed this up, didn't I? All right, bacon. Been watching a lot of old guy Carnivore lately, and he cooks up a lot of bacon, so it's always nice to see someone else eating some bacon. My kids actually eat it more than I do. I do eat it, just not that often. I'm gonna really overload this. There we go. All right, it's on. It's gonna take a little bit to cook, and we'll check back once it's almost finished. All right, we got our bacon cooking. Pan is pretty much dry. We'll go ahead and pull the skillet. Pull it out. A little bit of water left. But as I thought, it's starting to flash rust. It's kind of what I didn't want. But maybe if we season it real quick, we'll be able to stop that from getting any worse. Anyhow. Give this bacon a flip. And I did look it up. It says to preheat the oven to 450 for seasoning cast iron. And you know, I'm just looking all this up on the internet. I don't know if any of this is actually correct info. So if any of you know in the want to put in the comments any advice, anything I'm doing wrong, go ahead and do that. And in the future, because I'll be getting more of these, I'll be able to fix my mistakes, whatever I did on this one. So definitely let me know. And I'm probably going to cook a few pans full of bacon. I don't know how much oil I'm going to need. I know you're just supposed to put a thin layer and then put it in the oven, but I think you're supposed to do it 3 or 4 times. So we'll see. I'm going to put maybe just 2 pans full of bacon to start with and see how much grease I get from that. And then we'll season this up, and yeah, we'll come back when we're ready to start seasoning. Here's the first batch. Got it off to the side, cooling off. And you see some splatters are getting on my pan here, but I'm not too worried about it because that's what's going to be going on there anyways. I'm just excited to be able to use this thing and get away from these. And some people might be wondering, why don't I just cook the bacon in this one and then use the grease that's in it? Mainly because I don't want any of the solid stuff that comes off the bottom of the bacon to get in the bottom of the pan and then have to clean the bottom of the pan just to get the grease in there again. And in the future I'll be able to kind of just season it as I cook, but for the initial couple seasonings I want to, you know, put the grease on myself and not have to worry about any solid chunks getting in there. You know, it's funny, I actually just bought these things, splatter guards, but I keep forgetting about them. And I got, you know, bacon grease all over the stovetop. So maybe next time I'll remember. I bought like a set of 3 of them. I got one specifically that'll fit this cast iron also. All right, whoops. Let's see. Ah, it's falling in. Oh, I spilled some too. Dang it. All over here. Look at that. Okay, so I've got, lighting's kind of bad, decent bit of bacon grease. Need to get me a sacrificial towel. Let's see. I'll be right back for that. I gotta go find one. All right, I'm back. So, from what I've seen, it looks like people spread the bacon grease on it. It's really hot, but I'm gonna try to do it anyways. Spread it on with a paper towel, and then they use a regular towel to kind of dry it off, so to speak, to get the excess off. So we're gonna go ahead and give this a coat. You see, I think that's the rust mixed with bacon grease, giving that color. Now in the future, I won't be able to season it in the oven. I'm going to have to basically season it on the stovetop. All I've got is a little burner at work, and I'm going to have to basically do a stovetop method of seasoning, which I watched some videos about that as well. And it looks like it's kind of the same process. I mean, I don't have to go through and do the handles and the bottoms and the sides every time. Just kind of this initial couple times I do it in the oven. And then in the future, I just have to do the inside from what I understand. I could be wrong about that, but... So this is the part after you get the oil in there, you try to essentially almost like drying it off, like you were drying off a wet dish, just so that it's doesn't get runny and it's not so thick that when it burns off it gets sticky. That's kind of the idea behind it, what I'm told. So this is all experimental to me. I've never done this before, and we're gonna learn. Like I said, if I mess it up, it's 20 bucks, and I can go get another one and try it again. Not that I want to waste 20 bucks, but it could be worse. I think I kind of went off camera there for a minute. I think that's looking pretty good. Try to get a little bit more in the lettering here. Make sure the lettering gets its fair share. Okay. So, oven is at 450. We're going to pop this thing in about an hour. We'll pull it out. We will recoat it, and we will do it again. We'll do it 3-4 more times, and we'll see how it turns out. Oh, and if you're wondering why I didn't just cook the bacon in the... Sorry, I was just chewing. If you're wondering why I didn't cook the bacon in the cast iron and then do it, this is why. All this solid stuff, I mean, it's kind of stuck a little bit down there, and I didn't want to deal with all this being in the bottom when I was about to season it for the first time. I wanted it to just be oil and not have to worry about this. In the future, I'll be able to wipe this stuff out, put a little bit of the grease back on, turn that off. I'll be able to put the grease back on and do a little stovetop season where I kind of flash it off a little bit and wipe it down, but I don't want to do that until it's fully seasoned to begin with, so I didn't want this in there. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up, and yeah, I'll see you in an hour. It's been an hour, and I also let it cool down for about 30 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this thing out. And it's looking good. I like that. Still pretty hot, but I'm going to give it another couple coats, bacon grease, and basically repeat the process I just did 2 more times. All right, everyone. It's finally done. It's 10:52, so getting close to 11 o'clock. Waiting on this thing. Burn myself. And it's done. I think 3 coats is good enough for me. Oh yeah. Looks great. I think I'm going to call that for today. Call that a video. Can't wait to try this thing out and see how it does, and cook some good meat on it. Mainly going to be hamburger at work. That's mostly what I do at work, is hamburgers, but I'll probably do some steaks sometimes too. So that's all I got for the video today. Like I said, maybe I'll toss in a little clip of me cooking on it at work, or maybe just some pictures tomorrow. Just see this sucker in action. And again, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you all in the next one.